So here we are, 6 hours later.
ODSTs are special forces badasses in this future fictional Halo world. If you played Halo 2 or 3, it's probably been at some point in time you might recall them dropping down and running alongside Master Chief as an ally. Playing as an ODST is a little different than being a Spartan, though. Right off the bat, you might notice that your sort of view on the world is a little different. Your HUD is a little different to reflect the fact that you're not wearing Spartan armor. We don't have energy shields like Master Chief did. Instead, we have this bar up here that refers to our base stamina. And as you can see, it's a little bit low right now because we hurt ourselves. And it's not going to regenerate. The only way to get our health back is through more conventional means. In this case, there's some medical kiosks around the city that are still active. So if you've played Halo Combat Evolved, the health model in ODST is very, very similar to the way it was in the first game. Now, the city's been hit pretty hard between the Covenant invasion and the big slip-space explosion that we saw earlier. Most of the power systems are out. It's deserted. There's some parts of the city that are completely shrouded in darkness. But thankfully, the ODSTs have a trick up their sleeve called the visor. By pressing the X button, we turn on the visor, which is kind of a low-light enhancement system, like a night vision, if you will. It also ends up being very useful for a target acquisition system. So we can see up ahead very clearly there's a Covenant patrol waiting for us, but it's a little harder to see in the nighttime. If we were playing a cooperative game, we would see our enemies in red and our friends in green. It's very easy from a distance at night to determine friend from foe. We also have two new weapons that ODSTs are equipped with. The first being this sound-suppressed submachine gun. It's a really good burst fire weapon for medium-range encounters. My personal favorite, though, is the new pistol. And again, if you played Halo 1 at all, you might recall the pistol there, how powerful and awesome it was. The ODST pistol is going to feel very, very familiar in that regard. It's lethal, it excels at headshots, and as fast as you can pull the trigger, you can fire off rounds. So as you can see, these guys may not be super soldiers, but it doesn't mean that they don't know how to get the job done. A couple of other nuances that are different. You can't wield two guns at once, and you won't be able to jump quite as high or run quite as fast. But beneath that, it was very important to make sure that we did not actually fundamentally break or change what makes Halo Halo. It's still very much a Halo game. It's still a shooter. It's still action-based. But what it does mean is that you're a little more vulnerable as an ODST. Where Master Chief could pretty much charge into any situation, guns blazing, 9 times out of 10, barely get a scratch. ODST's got to be a little more careful. You got to be a little smarter and tactical in how and when and where you choose to engage the enemy, because your success is not as guaranteed as it was as a Spartan. We saw the Brute there throw down a bubble shield. ODSTs are not able to use equipment themselves. The X button now uses the visor, but the Covenant will still occasionally use the equipment against you. This is a good spot to kind of just take a quick look around, give you a sense of some of the just aesthetics and mood of ODST. It's very different from prior Halo games. As we discussed earlier, as the rookie, your job really is to try to unravel this mystery. So in many ways, it's like a detective story. And our team drew a lot of inspiration from some hard-boiled detective movies out there, film noir influence that definitely permeates our art style with our neon and rain, all the way through to our sound design and musical score. So it was definitely meant to have a much different feel and vibe than the prior Halo games. So the civilians have already all left the city, but luckily we're not 100% alone. As our visor's telling us here, we probably want to go over and check out this phone booth. And by doing so, we're going to establish an uplink connection with the Superintendent. And Superintendent is a pretty major character in ODST. He's basically a rudimentary artificial intelligence that runs the entire city of New Mombasa. everything from the garbage collection to the traffic lights to the utilities. It's all being run by this computer program. And thankfully, he's still here, he's still running, and he has cameras all over the city, and he's been watching, and he's going to prove to be a very valuable ally to us over the course of this mission. In that way, he's a little bit akin to a Cortana, but far less sophisticated, but still a computer system that's going to be a very helpful friend. So the first thing he gives us is access to the city map. And as you can see here as we pan around, the city of Mombasa is massive. It's several kilometers in scale. It's the biggest environment ever to be in a Halo game. And as you play through the campaign, the whole city will be unlocked and free for you to explore as you see fit. Unlike prior Halo games, which are a lot more linear in their design, the city actually serves as a hub that you can explore any way you'd like, and the missions will sprout off from there, allowing you to sort of proceed in any order that you like, giving the player a little bit more flexibility and control. So it wouldn't be fun to run around several kilometers in the dark looking randomly for clues without some sort of helping hand. So right now the superintendent's going to drop a little beacon down there and let us know that over here at the Oni Alpha site was the last known location of one of our squad members. So we're going to go over there and see what we can find. Now up here we have a marker that shows up in our compass area. It's almost a kilometer away. We don't have time to walk that far today, so we have a shortcut in. But also notice that CJ walks through the level. The superintendent has other means to talk to you as well. So he can't literally talk to you, but he can use things like street signs and traffic lights to act as a gentle guiding hand along your journey. So we're going to do a little quick magic trick here and teleport ourselves across the city in the interest of time. In the full game, you would have to navigate through the city. There are random patrols of Covenant that spawn throughout. You could engage them. You also could avoid them. And in addition, we've hidden a couple cool little things around the city that are optional. But if you find them, they'll add a lot of value and enhance the gameplay experience.
So here we are across the city. We've just opened up the gate to the Office of Naval Intelligence, the ONI building. We're going to walk in there, and as we get close to the beacon, you can see we're very close to it now. When we get in the area of the beacon, the superintendent highlights your HUD, so you know that you're close to a clue object, close to some clue about what happened to your squad mates. If you turn on the visor, he actually highlights the clue in yellow, this little detonator over here. But before we go into that, I just want to point out this skybox. This is one example of just some of the beautiful art that we have in Halo 3 ODST. And you would think, because we're based the entire game off of the Halo 3 engine, that the art would look like Halo 3, a couple years old, a little bit dated. But actually what it meant was all of our tools and technology was ready to go day one. And so at the very beginning of the development cycle, our artists were able to make real content for the game without worrying about the engine changing underneath their feet. And because of that, they got a lot more polish time. And so they were able to generate just some beautiful art. The space tether here, the space elevator that we passed by on the opening drop is since collapsed because the slip space rupture. It's burning and partially destroyed. And then here's the ONI building itself. It looks a little worse for wear, along with the bridge out to the ONI building. We can't even get out there. So maybe if we open up the beacon object here, we can find out what happened to both this area and to our buddy, our squad mate.
Stand by, 2 seconds. On my mark. We're way off course. We're heading exactly where I need to go.
So each time you find one of these objects in the city, and you can find them in any order, you can flash back to in any order that you'd like. You flash back and jump into the boots of your squad mate. So we're going to play as Dutch now. Dutch is the guy who handed you the SMG at the beginning of the game, in the opening cinematic. And he has since met up with Mickey, and the two of them are helping to guard this ONI building. We're going to see what happens to it. This was just 2 hours after drop, so this is like 4 hours before the rookie even woke up. This is kind of how he finds out what happened.
Hurry up. You want to do this? Be my guest. But this ain't a job you want to rush. That do it?
Signal good. Army of the detonators and pull back to me.
Come on, tough guy. We gotta blow this bridge. Dutch, arm the other charges. What about those legs? Forget about them. We got explosives to set. Follow me. Arm the charges. out, Banshee! Banshee is coming down! That's the last one, Dutch.
Come on, Super, unlock the keypad.
Keep it clean. Respect public property.
If you don't let us trigger those charges, in about 5 minutes, your data center is going to be crawling with Covenant. But not the in time. Do it, Trooper.
Kill their infantry! Don't let them
Bridge
cross the
all
bridge!
accepted. Have a pleasant trip.
So now we know what happened to the bridge.